Peace be upon you, dear friends. May God's health, well-being, and blessings be upon all of humanity. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Today I will share a brief talk with you about the right path. Now, as is well known, all of humanity, especially in the last 100, 200 years, the course of humanity has changed, starting with mercantilism, continuing with imperialism, and then evolving into capitalism and liberalism. With the mindset of, let them do as they please, people have become drowned in materialism. The spiritual aspect, that is faith and belief, has been neglected. This is the case all over the world. And when this happens, bodies and minds are satisfied with material things. But the inner self, the essence of a person, or you could call it the soul, is never satisfied because there is an imbalance at play. So, despite this imbalance, most people are only concerned with how to live, not why to live. Within this wild capitalism and materialism, they live with the anxiety and effort of simply being able to feed themselves. They can't even begin to worry about seeking peace, because if your stomach is empty, there can be no unity. This is the case for all of humanity around the world. For them, of course, noon turns into evening. Morning comes, evening comes, morning comes again, they are born, they live. Afterwards comes a painful wait for death and a departure from the world. Most people are like this too. However, there is also another group among people, and their number is quite large as well. Within this sense of being trapped, within this dissatisfaction, they are searching for a true path, a salvation. They look, and when they can't find it, these people then experience an inner turmoil. To get rid of depression and this sense of being trapped, they prefer to numb or relax themselves, mainly their bodies, using various psychological or psychiatric methods with temporary solutions. This is a serious problem all over the world. Right now, antidepressant medications, without them, many people simply cannot get through the day in that state of distress and confinement. That's the situation. On the other hand, people who claim to have found another way usually still can't find satisfaction. Why? There are so many alternatives. There are so many that some have noticed this vulnerability of humanity. Some opportunists are primarily exploiting this issue. Whether we look at social media or other platforms, everyone claims to have a way. And beyond just claiming it, they assert that the path they present is absolutely correct and leads to a solution. That's what's happening. Therefore, in this situation, people become confused. In fact, yes, the right path is singular, universal, and clear. It is right before our eyes, but at the moment it is concealed due to the abundance of alternatives. It remains hidden. Therefore, normally, a jeweler does not stand in front of his shop and shout, "Hey citizens, come, I have gold." This is something a greengrocer or other tradesman might do, because the value of gold is well known. There is no need to advertise it. However, due to the reasons I mentioned above, nowadays it is necessary to announce the true universal right path to people. On this channel, on this platform, we are trying to convey to humanity what this true right path is. In other words, the path referred to in the Quran as the straight path, or Sirat al-Mustaqim. And at this point, our most important advice to humanity is question things, my friends. 20. What does Bertrand Tver, one of the great philosopher sages of the 20th century, say? An unexamined life is not worth living. Whatever comes your way, you shouldn't just say, "I've found it among a few alternatives," and blindly follow it. Because there is proof of universal truth. One should demand proof. And what is the proof of that universal truth? When we look at it this way, since the dawn of humanity, we will examine how things have been carried out. We will look at how things have been done. How has it been carried out? How have people found peace? How have they attained the truth? In the past, what we call saints, or in other esoteric teachings, sages, how have they attained this peace? How have they found the truth? The most important indicator is that they found it by knowing themselves. So did they do this on their own? No, when we look at history, we see that everyone who attained peace and self-knowledge was able to achieve this through a guide or a sage. And their names have remained. They are remembered. Are there any names of those who claim to have achieved it on their own? Look, there aren't any. They only become philosophers. In other words, it's all mixed up from top to bottom. They discuss various ideas and present their own opinions. If you look inside them, that disorder, chaos, and darkness exists within all of them. They have not found peace. As for those who have found peace, as I mentioned above, from the very beginning to the present day, this is difficult. It is clearly evident that anyone who has succeeded in this has done so by learning from a mature person, a guide, a sage passing by on the path. So what is the proof, the evidence? The right path? We will find such a sage. We will enter his discipline. In our language, this is called ser isuluk. In the language of esoteric teachings, we will be initiated. We will be disciplined. There is a methodology for this. There is a method. Moreover, it doesn't happen just by reading books for 3 to 5 months or memorizing some things. If necessary, it will be a process that takes years so that a person can know themselves and attain peace. What's easy about it? Isn't that right? Yet when we look at many fake teachings, they claim that this can be done easily and that people can be saved right away. And moreover, they often say this with the intention of exploitation. They exploit people's money. Besides, one of the important qualities, the principles of the true path, is wisdom. It does not demand money from people. It proclaims the truth, introduces a person to themselves. This is one of the most important rules. If someone says, well, I sell packages, I offer 6-month training for this amount of money, and in return, I promise you peace, you should stay away from them, because they themselves have not yet found peace. There is no evidence for this. The so-called evidence they present with their words holds no real weight. You will recognize them when you see inside them. It is obvious to the truly wise that they are completely dark inside, but this darkness is hidden from themselves and from the world. So we will question and look for the path that has proof. We will look for the path that has proof. Of course, when it comes to wisdom, there is also a certain prejudice. That is, no one should come between the truth or God and the servant, the human being. With my faith, with my belief, I can reach the truth. There is suspicion. And in most cases, this is actually true for people. This stems from the following reason. It also comes from the exploitative systems of these abusers. Because there are many, many people who claim to have knowledge. As I mentioned, these people often exploit others for money, claiming that their own path is the right one. When people see this, they don't see it fit in their own minds and according to their own egos to submit themselves to the discipline of a wise person or a saint. So the solution to this is actually simple. Does this person ask you for money in any way or not? Are they expecting something in return, or are they not expecting anything? This is the measure. If they are expecting something, you should stay away from them. If they are not expecting anything, then you should follow them. So here with this short conversation we've had, once again, we are talking about the path that those who seek truth and peace follow by questioning. Or, who is the person? We are saying that after truly and deeply understanding this crucial point, and not allowing oneself to be unfairly exploited or taken advantage of, only then and only at that precise moment should one carefully and thoughtfully decide where to proceed or go next in their journey. Those who act in this way will attain peace and salvation. As for the others, there is nothing that can be done. They will be distracted on the path they have chosen, deceived by their own egos, and in the end they will face disappointment. I pray to the Almighty Lord that He guides every person to the right path according to their share and capacity. I offer my love and greetings to all of humanity.